Going back to the Japan trip, I would say that completely ruined your perception of anime and weebs in general. So do you want to explain like why that happened or what happened?
Were you the stereotypical weeb before? Like everything Japan was better.
Describe yourself. Describe what you were like before, and describe what happened. And describe what you were like after.
Of course, like because the beginning was like I had a Japanese foreign exchange student because I was like, oh, Japanese people Nihongo desu. I just like kind of like
Joey dies inside.
My nuts just went into
But I definitely up until I think I met her, I calmed down a lot. I'm like, she's pretty normy. How come she doesn't know all these animes? And then she let me stay at her house in Japan after she went back home after a year. And
How old were you?
I was 17.
Okay.
So I went to her house, and then I kind of just went everywhere in Tokyo that was like anything. And the whole time, like I loved the trip. Don't get me wrong, but do I think that it was anime, heaven here? Like, do I think like?
So what was your image of Japan before coming here for the first time?
I'd come here and I'd be like an instant, like everyone would be like, oh, kawaii blonde girl. Just like, oh, you're so. Do you want to be an internet? You want to be an idol in Japan? Just take over the country.
Reminder, she says she had no self-confidence. You remember that?
Once I like grew up and realized like, man, shit.
Life really hits you like a truck.
And then like once I grew up, I'm like, shit, how come I left Japan and I wasn't like prime minister?
That's like every white guy when he goes to a new country.
Because like,
and like I'm just like, what if I'm not sugoi desune? And then I started reflecting, definitely just on everything, and I'm like, fuck, anime lied to me.
This is a normal country.
And then just like,
because like I remember you were telling me stories about how you were like cosplayed in Akihabara and stuff like that.
Because like when I went to Japan, it was 2012, and about I think a year prior or a year and a half prior, Anohana finished.
Oh yeah.
And we went to, and I really love Anohana, like, but so I went to the village for Chichibu, which is where it was based off of. And since I was like the blonde, blue-eyed girl, they're like, oh, Menma. So they made me like dress up as Menma for a picture.
Who made you dress up?
We went to the place that was like, because they were having a festival for Anohana.
Right.
And then there was like a street completely dedicated towards like looking like the anime, like they had a secret base and everything. And so we went to the store, I think, where they were like beginning to run everything, and then people were just like, they were like, oh shit, like we need somebody to like cosplay to gain more people to like want to come over. And then, so they just like, they asked my Japanese
Quick, find a white girl.
Find a white. And then, because I think she's meant to be white in the anime, if I remember. Like they were, but why is her name Menma?
I don't get into that.
I think she's supposed to be Japanese, but anime being anime, it's like, let's just make them not Japanese.
Yeah.
So then they made me wear Menma Menma
like the white dress.
Yeah. And just, I don't think I've ever felt so wanted. Like Japanese people were just like, I just remember like the flashing, like I couldn't see, they're just like telling me to pose, and I was just like, shit, I'm just like, I don't know, like I'm just blonde hair, blue eyed, and wearing a Menma dress, and I've never felt so loved.
Jesus
I
Christ.
don't know if that
went
means
downhill
that you
from
got
there.
too much love or you didn't get any. Right. Man,
That was my-
didn't you get accused of being racist?
Now we're gonna go
yeah,
down.
why not?
Yeah, let's just jump right into it.
Yeah.
So I went. So okay, when I was studying in England, I quickly had to pick a thing I wanted to major in, and I just picked Japanese. All right, I'll say it. I majored in Japanese.
That weave.
Of course.
That weave.
Yeah.
And fuck. So I went to a university in London, and God, I really hope he doesn't watch this. So okay. So I had a Japanese professor, and we'd obviously write essays as you do in university.
Yeah.
And he let us pick the genre, like what we wanted to write about exactly. And I picked about like kind of Japan's fascination with Westerners and like kind of their looks, and kind of like, meat, like stuff like that. And so I felt really good about it. Like I thought it was the best I ever wrote. Garnt read it. He's like,
I actually thought it was a
Yeah.
good essay.
And then when I was like so excited, I'm like, this is the best. And like I'd never been so hyped for a grade. I get it back.
That's how you know you did good shit. And you're like, I can't wait to get that fucking A.
But then I get it like the grade's back 2 weeks later, and it's a 0 out of 100. And I'm just like, what the fuck, right?
Yeah.
And so I messaged him like, why'd I get a 0 for this? He's like, because it was like, he never explicitly said racist, but he's like, you are very insensitive to Japanese people, and it's just like, just a lot of stuff. And I remember just like crying because I'm like, oh my god, it's essentially calling me racist.
So wait, was your professor like full Japanese?
Yeah, he was full. He literally came, like, he was older Japanese man who
Right.
came to like teach Japanese like culture in the university,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Maybe you just gave him a pill he couldn't swallow.
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
might have been that.
It's like, shit, she called me out. This white girl called us out like that. 0.
Yeah, I mean, when you told me that, I'm like, but like every single sign near our house is like white people.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always white people.
It's like the gym. I don't see a single Asian person.
Yeah, right.
It's
The
always
longer-
ripped white dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The longer I live here, the more I'm like, man, I shouldn't have got a fucking 0 on.
Should have been 100.
Like 1,000.
Because I remember you got back that grade and you're like, I had to convince you for the week that you just weren't racist. Or
I-
Dawn, am I racist?
I mean,
God, maybe I'm racist. Maybe I am. Like,
You were like fucking Martin Luther. It's just like, I'm just dropping these truth bombs. You just can't handle it.
legit, I was like convinced I was racist. Completely, I was convinced. I mean, what kind of like? If
Is that
somebody-
how it works? Is that how
if someone
racist?
says it, I'm just like, shit. What if I have internal racism and I never even knew?
Internal racism.
No. But yeah, I almost failed university because of that.
Wow, what an asshole.
He made me rewrite it, and he actually gave me good points for. I had to read memoirs.
But didn't
of
you drop
geisha.
out anyway?
I did. I dropped out,
Joke's on you.
but I wanted that credit. So yeah, that was.
You could argue that the professor was being racist to you.
shit.
Wow, that's a
Shit.
Vsauce opening if I've ever heard one.
reverse Uno card.
Unless.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you are the racist one here.
coming at me.
That's just 2020 then.
Yeah.
That's-
Oh my god.